Yo, I think I'm guilty. Like, I'm dead ass.
What do you mean?
You know it. That's exactly what I mean. It doesn't. You don't even know exactly what I mean. You're gonna come open this door right now, or there's gonna be a serious problem.
Mackenzie Shirilla, bright, privileged and social media savvy; Dominic Russo, charismatic and driven; Davion Flanagan, kind-hearted with dreams of his own. But on one fateful summer morning, their lives would collide in tragedy that would leave two dead and a town demanding answers. Mackenzie Shirilla was born on August 2nd, 2004, to her parents Natalie and John Shirilla. She grew up in a loving and privileged environment and lived with her parents, her sister, and her brother. Like many teenagers of her generation, Mackenzie was deeply immersed in social media. She loved fashion, makeup, and often shared glimpses of her interest and luxury clothing choices to her online audience. Mackenzie attended Strongville's High School in Ohio, where she met her boyfriend Dominic Russo. The two began dating in 2021, forming a relationship that became central to her life. Dominic Russo was well liked and admired for his entrepreneurial spirit. He often engaged in business ventures, including producing music. Friends and family describe him as a charismatic and driven individual who left a lasting impression on those around him. Dominic had aspirations of joining the military and wanted to serve for his country. However, by the time he turned 20, those close to the couple observed the turbulent and unstable nature of his relationship with Mackenzie Shirilla. As Mackenzie's behavior became more controlling and possessive, Dominic began to distance himself emotionally, falling out of love and growing increasingly frustrated with the dynamics of their toxic relationship. Dominic eventually had enough and ended his relationship with Mackenzie, as he had done so several times before. However, like other times, Mackenzie refused to accept the breakup and continually showed up unannounced at his house, banging on the front door and threatening to harm him and his property if he did not take her back.
I'm gonna key your car and you do not let me in the house.
You're going to key my car
If you don't let me in the house, yes.
Dominic eventually relented, and they both reconciled once again. For a short period, things appeared to improve between them, and they both were observed as being loved up and having fun. Mackenzie had even made plans for them to attend a party together. On July the 31st, 2022, they both attended a party, drinking, dancing and socializing with their peers, seemingly enjoying a rare period of peace in their otherwise turbulent relationship. At the party, Dominic and Mackenzie spent most of their time with Davion Flanagan. Davion and Dominic were best friends. The two were inseparable and shared a strong bond, often spending most of their time together. Mackenzie also knew Davion through her boyfriend Dominic. At 19 years old, Davion had overcome a challenging start in life, having been in foster care before being adopted by a loving family. He was described as a kind and selfless individual with a big heart, always striving to spread love and protect those around him. Davion had recently graduated and had plans to open a barber shop and make his family proud by running a successful business in their hometown. The next morning, around 5 a.m., the party had ended, and the three of them were ready to go home. They left together, with Davion joining Mackenzie and Dominic in the car for a ride home. Mackenzie was driving a Toyota Camry. Dominic, her boyfriend, sat in the front passenger seat beside her, whilst Davion seated in the back. Mackenzie was the only one wearing a seatbelt. Mackenzie was captured on CCTV, driving smoothly and within the speed limits of Strongville. The journey took a dark turn when they reached Progress Drive, a largely commercial area. At this point, Mackenzie began to accelerate sharply, driving erratically, swerving dangerously, and showed no signs of braking, reaching a speed of 100 miles per hour. Her foot remained pressed firmly on the accelerator, leading to a car crash. The crash occurred in the commercial area where Mackenzie veered off the road and slammed into the corner of an industrial brick building, causing devastating damage. It wasn't until nearly an hour later the accident was noticed by passersby who called for emergency services. When police and paramedics arrived at the scene, they were stunned by the sheer destruction caused by the crash.
Into some squad now. This is not a fresh accident either. She's been here for a while. Radio, we got at least 2 occupants in here. No one's moving. Oh my God. Oh my God. Times 3, guys. Radio, 3 occupants. No one's conscious.
Mackenzie was unconscious in the driver's seat. Her foot was still pressed against the accelerator. The car had sustained catastrophic damage, and the severity of the crash made the loss of life immediately apparent. Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan, who had not been wearing seatbelts, were pronounced dead at the scene. The extent of the wreckage and Mackenzie's position at the wheel raised immediate suspicion, which would later be reinforced by forensic surveillance and evidence. For Mackenzie, it was touch and go, but after undergoing multiple surgeries, she did survive and was free to go home. Initially, the grief-stricken community believed it was a terrible accident, but as police began the investigation, troubling details about Mackenzie's behavior and past threats emerged. Witnesses revealed that Mackenzie had previously threatened to harm Dominic, including keying his car. Mackenzie had even threatened to crash the vehicle to kill him if he ever tried to leave her. This painted a picture of Mackenzie's state of mind and the turmoil surrounding their relationship. While Dominic and Davion's families were mourning, Mackenzie's action after the incident raised further suspicion. She frequently posted on social media, where she could be seen showing her fashion and lifestyle choices with friends. She attended a music concert and, most disturbingly, dressed as a corpse for a Halloween party. Many found her behavior cold and unsettling, particularly given her direct responsibility for the tragic accident that led to 2 deaths. The investigation began to uncover significant evidence pointing to premeditation. A thorough analysis of Mackenzie's car revealed no mechanical defects that could have caused the crash. Forensic evidence and surveillance footage confirmed that she had forcefully pressed the accelerator and never lifted her foot off the gas. Additionally, GPS and phone records showed that Mackenzie had visited Progress Drive multiple times before the crash, suggesting she had scouted the area beforehand. These findings led the police to believe the crash was deliberate and premeditated. Despite the mounting evidence, Mackenzie appeared to dismiss the gravity of her actions. According to investigators, she seemed to expect only minor consequences, such as a suspended license or a light reprimand, showing little understanding of the severity of the situation or the profound impact caused on the families involved. Mackenzie Shirilla, who was 17 years old at the time of the incident in July 2022, was arrested on November the 4th the same year in connection with a deliberate car crash. She faced 12 counts of criminal charges, including 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of felonious assault, 2 counts of aggravated vehicle homicide, drug possession, and possessing criminal tools, likely related to the evidence uncovered in a planning or execution of the crash. Her trial began on August 7, 2023, where she was tried as an adult by a judge rather than a jury. Prosecutors argued that the crash was not an accident, but a deliberate act, describing it as a planned murder-suicide intended to end her volatile relationship with Dominic Russo, with Davion Flanagan tragically becoming collateral damage. During the trial, prosecutors highlighted Mackenzie's troubling behavior following the death of Dominic and Davion.
While the investigation was still going on, before she was charged and arrested in November of last year, and these were the sort of things that were coming to the police, and the shocking lack of remorse, coupled with the fact that the defendant was reported driving an automobile shortly after this event, that she was seen in Strongsville again driving a car. In spite of the fact that, as her mother testified, she got dizzy sometimes from a condition that she had to take salt pills for, in spite of the fact that it was in fact her mother who provided her with the car that she used to take Dominic and Davion's life.
Prosecutors also presented key evidence to portray Mackenzie as controlling and volatile, Video footage taken by Dominic was introduced, showing instances of Mackenzie's aggressive behavior and the threats she would make when she didn't get her way.
Dom, if you do not open, you think I'm joking. You think I'm joking. Like, I'm dead ass.
What do you mean?
You know it. That's exactly what I mean. You don't even know exactly what I mean. You're gonna come open this door right now, or there's gonna be a serious problem.
Together with forensic evidence and GPS data, the prosecution built a case that painted Mackenzie's actions as premeditated and intentional. The defense argued that there was no definitive evidence to prove malice, suggesting she might have lost control of the vehicle. They argued she had no clear motive to purposefully end the lives of her boyfriend Dominic and his friend Davion Flanagan. The trial concluded on August 14, 2023. After considering the arguments from both the prosecution and the defense, Judge Nancy Margaret Russo made the following remark.
The video clearly shows the purpose and intent of the defendant. She chose a course of death and destruction that day. She morphs from a responsible driver to literal hell on wheels. Her actions were controlled, methodical, deliberate, intentional, and purposeful. This was not reckless driving. This was murder.
Subsequently, Mackenzie was found guilty. Davion's mother gave an emotional impact statement.
My name is Jamie Flanagan. I am the mother of the victim, Davion Flanagan. I want to share a small part of what we lost on 7/31/2022. My son, Davion, is and always will be so much more than cargo. He was precious. He was an amazing soul with a heart of gold. He gave to the world what he wanted most in his own life: love.
The court also heard from Dominic's mother.
Mackenzie Shirilla had a choice. Dom and Davion did not. We are all left here to mourn. But what Dominic, and Davion lost can never be remedied in any way or by any particular sentence. On July 31st, 2022, I called Mackenzie's mother, hysterical with the loss of my son and Davion. I knew Mackenzie was in the hospital, and the first statement said to me was, "Oh, please don't listen to what everyone's saying on Facebook." Yeah, my son is dead, his friend is dead, and I'm checking on yours. Yet social media is what's important. Social media has made a game out of the life of Mackenzie and is making a game out of this heart-wrenching tragedy. No one can imagine the pain of losing a child unless they have lost one themselves.
Finally, Mackenzie herself spoke and addressed the court.
The families of Dom and Davion, I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. I'm just so sorry. I'm heartbroken. I love Dom and Davion. We were all friends, and Dom was my soulmate. I wish I could take all your pain away, and I'm so sorry. And to my family, thank you for the support and all the love you guys gave. Thank you for fighting with me. I love you all so much.
After the statements were done, the judge was left to decide whether Mackenzie would run the sentences concurrently or separately. The judge ultimately sentenced Mackenzie to 2 concurrent sentences of 15 years to life, making her eligible for parole in 15 years. This means she could potentially be considered for release around 2038. Before we end, whilst there are many who believe that Mackenzie is guilty, some speculate that drugs or emotional state could have influenced her actions, potentially impairing her judgment. Additionally, many feel that if Mackenzie had been tried by a jury instead of a judge, the outcome could have been different, with the jury potentially being more lenient. Regardless of this, 2 innocent young people lost their lives in a tragic way. We hope they and their families find peace.